In this presentation, we'll see use case diagrams. Here we are going to cover use case diagram, common uses of use case diagram, modeling the context of a system, interaction diagram, activity diagrams, action states and activity states, and at the end we'll see transitions and branching. Use case diagrams, activity diagrams, state chart diagrams, sequence diagrams, and collaboration diagrams are the 5 types of diagrams used for modeling dynamic aspects of system. Use case diagram is a diagram that shows a set of use cases, actors, and their relationships. Use case diagrams are used to model the use case view of a system. Use case diagrams are important for visualizing, specifying, documenting the behavior of an element. Use case diagrams are also important for testing executable systems through forward engineering and for comprehending executable systems through reverse engineering. Use case diagrams commonly contain use cases, actors, dependency, generalization, and association relationships. It may also contain nodes, constraints, and package. This figure shows a use case diagram to model the behavior of a cellular phone. It consists of the use cases place phone calls, receive phone calls, use scheduler, receive additional call, place conference call. Also, it contains the actors called as cellular network and user. We'll see the common uses of use case diagram. To model the static use case view of a system, use case diagram can be applied in one of two ways. Number one, to model the context of a system. Modeling the context of a system involves drawing a line around the whole system and asserting which actors lie outside the system and interact with it. Here, you will apply use case diagrams to specify the actors and the meaning of their roles. Number two, to model the requirements of a system. Modeling the requirement of a system involves specifying what the system should do from the point of view of the outside the system, independent of how that system do it. Here you will apply use case diagram to specify the desired behavior of the system. Now we'll see modeling the use context of a system. To model the context of a system, first step is identify the actors that surround the system by considering which groups require help from the system to perform their task, which groups are needed to execute the system's functions, which group interact with external hardware, and which groups perform functions for administration and maintenance. Number two, organize actors that are similar to one another in a generalization specialization hierarchy. Next number, where it aids understandability, provide a stereotype for each such actor. Number 4, populate use case diagram with these actors and specify the path of communication from each actor to the system's use cases. Here, this figure shows the context of a credit card validation system. Customers are of two types called individual customers and corporate customers. These actors are the roles that humans play when interacting with the system. Customer performs a card transaction to buy an item or service with the actor retail institution. The actor sponsoring financial institution serves the clearinghouse for the credit card account. The two actors, retail institution and sponsoring financial institution, are likely software intensive systems themselves. Now we'll see interaction diagram. An interaction diagram shows an interaction consisting of a set of objects and their relationships. Sequence diagram and collaboration diagram are the interaction diagram. Interaction diagrams are used for modeling the dynamic aspects of a system. Interaction diagram may stand alone to visualize, specify, construct, and document the dynamics of a particular society of objects. They may be used to model one particular flow of control of a use case. They are important for constructing executable systems through forward and reverse engineering. Interaction diagram emphasize flow of control from object to object. Activity diagrams. An activity diagram is a flowchart showing flow of control from activity to activity. It is used to model the dynamic aspects of the system. Activity diagrams may stand alone to visualize, specify, construct, and document the dynamics of a society of objects. Activity diagrams emphasize flow of control from activity to activity. An activity is an ongoing non-atomic execution within a state machine. Activities result in some action which is made up of executable atomic computations that results in a change in state of the system or the return of a value. Activity diagrams are also important for constructing executable systems through forward and reverse engineering. Action states and activity states. Things like evaluating some expression that sets the value of an attribute or that returns some value may happen in the flow of control modeled by an activity diagram. For this, an operation on an object may be called or signals may be sent to an object or an object is created or destroyed. These executable atomic computations are called action states because they are states of the system, each representing the execution of an action. An action state is represented using a lozenge shape, that is a shape or a symbol with horizontal top and bottom with convex sides. As shown in this figure, bit plan and index is equal to lookup e plus 7. These are the actions. Activity states can be further decomposed and their activity being represented by other activity diagrams. Activity states take some duration to complete. Action state is a special case of an activity state. An action state is an activity state that cannot be further decomposed. An activity state is composite whose flow of control is made up of other activity states and action states. There is no notational distinction between action and activity states except that an activity state may have additional parts such as an entry and exit actions, actions which are involved on entering and leaving the state respectively, and submachine specifications. As shown here, process build and do construction with entry or set lock are the activity states. Activity states and action states are special kinds of states in a state machine. When you enter an action state, you simply perform the action or the activity, and when you finish, control passes to the next action or activity. Activity states are important because they help to break complex computations into parts. Now, transitions. When the action or activity of a state completes, flow of control passes to the next action or activity state. This flow is specified by using transitions to show the path from one action or activity state to the next action or activity state. Transition is shown by a simple directed line. A flow of control has to start and end at some place. In case of infinite flow, it will have a beginning but no end. The initial state is specified by a solid ball and a stop state is specified by a solid ball inside a circle. We will see what is branching. This figure shows a branching which is indicated by a diamond shape. Here there is one incoming transition and two outgoing transitions. That is, materials not ready is one transition and another one transition named as materials ready. A branch may have one incoming and two or more outgoing ones. On each outgoing transition, you place a Boolean expression which is evaluated only once on entering the branch. Across all these outgoing transitions, guards should not overlap, but they should cover all possibilities. The keyword else can be used to mark one outgoing transition representing the path taken if no other guard expression evaluates to true. You can achieve the effect of iteration by using one action state that sets the value of an iterator, another action state that increments the iterator, and a branch that evaluates if the iteration is finished. That's the end of this presentation. Thank you.